All right, good afternoon and welcome everyone to 2024's first ever session of Marketing Talks. I am Cheska Cordero from Insightful Accountant and your host for today. Now, before we actually start, I'd like to go ahead and ask our question of the day, just as everyone's kind of coming in and settling down in front of their computers, their phones, their tablets. Yeah. So, Janelle, I don't actually have anything in mind yet for New Year's resolution. I know it's kind of cliche to ask you this, but I just want to go ahead and ask around, get a few ideas. Do you have a New Year's resolution?
I don't often make New Year's resolutions because I don't know, they're a little, I don't know, they kind of set you up. Sometimes I think
For
for
failure?
yeah. So what I typically do is set goals. And I guess they could be considered the same thing, but one of my biggest goals this year is to read more because I love to read. And so my goal is to try and read 2 books a month, but we'll see. I'm not on track for my January goal as of today. How about you? Or
Yeah,
anybody else?
actually that has been also on my list of stuff to do, mainly because I do like before I used to read like maybe I could finish like a whole set of books in a month. Like say if it was a full collection, I could finish that in a month. In 3 days, I could finish a book. There are some books that I could finish in one sitting. So I'm an insanely quick reader. Like it's
Yeah, I
insane.
guess.
Yeah. So I read really fast. I breeze through books. So I kind of want to get into that habit again. So I might reschedule like my ebook reader on my phone, well on my iPad work because I think iBooks has this thing where you can set goals for yourself when you read. It's like how many hours in a
Oh,
day. Yeah. But though I'd love to get back into like physical books, but books are expensive. So just
yes, they are.
yep. Just kind of go back into ebooks and do that there so I can track myself. All right. Well, since we're done with books,
Yeah.
again, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to 2024's first ever session of Marketing Talks. Again, I'm Cheska Cordero from Insightful Accountant and your host for today. Now, this January's Marketing Talks topic. Whoa, will be Are you missing the boat? What you need to know about your Google business profile with the wonderful Janelle Sikora. Now, I'll have her introduce herself in just a little bit after I cover a few of the housekeeping items. Now, there is no CPE for this as it is just a 30-minute webinar. And if you have any questions, please enter them in the Q&A panel. And you guys, I want you to be specific. You can't just say what you mean. You really got to ask Janelle, like, hey, Janelle, what do you mean by you wanted to get started on reading a lot of books this year? Mainly because she might not get to your question right after you put it in there. Now, we'll also be sending a link to the recording after the webinar, and it's also going to be up on our YouTube page within about 24 hours. So if you want to go check it out over there, you'll find many other webinars, including Janelle's past sessions of marketing talks that might be of interest to you. I'll also be putting that link to our YouTube channel into our chat, as well as a copy of the slide deck. Now, also, do not forget that we have many webinars for you this coming month. Whether you're interested in practice management, marketing, everything tax, or all things QuickBooks, Insightful Accountants got something for you. Now, you can check out all our webinars that are available to you over on the educational webinars page on our site. And do not worry, I'll also put that link into our chat as well. Now, I will be rolling out those links and the copy of the slide deck throughout the webinar in case you might have missed it the first time I put it in there. Now, Janelle, that's actually it for me. Welcome and thanks for being here.
Thank you so much, Cheska. So I want to ask everybody if you can throw something into the chat first. And Cheska, I don't know why I'm having trouble seeing the chat or the Q&A, so I might just see if you can monitor that for me. But I get a lot of questions around the Google business profile. So I'm just curious what your burning question is, like what your number one question would be, because I am going to cover like the top questions I get, but I want to make sure that yours gets answered. So if you wouldn't mind, take 1 minute, think about it, and then pop that into the chat. And then, Cheska, when we get to the questions that I go over that I get asked a lot, if you could look through those and just make sure that I'm not missing anything, that would be great. I would really appreciate that. So today we are talking about the Google business profile, and I think everybody can see my screen. So we're going, this can be very complex. Cheska and I were talking right before we started this that there's a lot of resources out there on Google that you can go and you can learn about. You can even take classes. but they're lengthy, they're detailed. And so what I am going to try and do today is really net this down for you about over the next 30 minutes, lot to cover, but what is it? What are the top reasons why every firm, whether you're an accounting firm, bookkeeping firm, CPA firm, whatever, why do you need to claim it and optimize it? By the way, that abbreviation GBP is Google Business Profile. You might also know it by what it used to be called, Google. It's escaping me. I'll remember it, but it recently changed to the name Google Business Profile. We're also going to talk about at least 5 things that you need to do with your Google Business Profile, your GBP. And then I'm going to go through the top questions. I think I have 7 of them that I get asked all the time, and I'll give you the answers to those. And then, of course, at the end, if there are any that you've thrown into the chat that I haven't covered, we'll hit those as well. Okay. And don't hesitate to throw something in the chat. Oh, now I can see chat, so that's good. Let's see here. I need to understand it all. Yes. Okay, I do by appointment only. How do I put the, oh, great. Okay, I have profile reviews. Is there anything else that I need to know to ensure I don't lose my profile? Yes. Okay, I think I'm going to be able to answer all of these for you. But if it's not clear to you the answer to your question when I get through this, definitely let me know and I'll make sure and get you an answer. Okay, so let's start here. Let's just start with the basics. What is it? Let me get rid of this little window here. Okay, what is it? So basically, it's free. We all love free, right? It's a free online listing that basically allows any business or organization to create a profile. And it signals to Google that I'm a business. Well, we're going to talk about how it signals that to Google that I'm engaged, but it's free. And Google is the largest search engine we've got, so it's very important. The main features on a Google business profile are the basics, right? Like your name, address. If you're by appointment only, you can put that. You can put your hours if you're normally 9 to 5. You can say things too in there like we're remote, we're hybrid. You can put those things. You don't have to put those things. It does ask for a business category, and that's super important. And you're going to see why on my next slide. So I'll just leave that one there for the minute. Photos and videos. I can't emphasize that enough. Those are really important. We'll talk more about those as well. You can link your website there, and which is extremely important because it will drive traffic to your website. Naturally, we all know what Google reviews are. We're going to talk more about this. Posts. Now something new that Google Business Profile came out with a month or so ago. You can now link your social media. So if you've got a LinkedIn or an Instagram or a Facebook, whatever, you can actually link those inside your Google Business Profile. You can allow for people to ask questions right on there, and then you can answer them right from the Google Business Profile. You can have, so chat widgets are going to be all the rage. I'm sure no one is living under a rock. Everyone knows what AI is, and chat widgets are big and getting even bigger. So you can actually have chat widgets added. And then, of course, very, very important is make sure to list your products and services, which you'll see why again on the next page. Your location. So if you have a couple locations or one location, you can put all of your Google Maps locations on there so that people can find you easily if they're trying to type in the name of your business on Google Maps. And then any other attributes, if you are, wheelchair accessible or anything like that. Again, I mentioned remote and hybrid working. You can put those things in there. You don't have to, but you can. So those are all some of the main features, but let's dig into this a little bit. So I wanted to show you an example. And this is just an example. I did this earlier, you can see today, because I just wanted to show you what this looks like. And I did this on my phone. So I live outside of Tampa, Florida, and I just typed in on my phone in the Safari browser, small business bookkeeping services near me. Now, a lot of people do this. People will type in, you guys know all the search terms, right? CPA near me, what's the best bookkeeping business or bookkeeping service for small businesses, all those major search terms. This is what pops up. And I know you guys have all seen this. This is the Google Business Profile. So I want to call your attention to a couple things on here. Then we're gonna talk more about optimizing it, etc. But you're going to see a couple things. I mentioned to you that you should put your products and services on there, the types. Notice by that first red arrow where it says bookkeeping for small businesses, very clearly, if I was looking for a bookkeeping service for my company, I would automatically go, okay, well, let's see, they provide bookkeeping for small businesses. Check that box, that's good. Um, Another thing that I want to call your attention to is the reviews. So you'll see up there, the top one has 37 reviews, got a 5-star rating, 4.9 star rating. The next one has a 5-star rating, 11 reviews. These are things people look at. People look at what's the overall rating and how many reviews are there. We're going to talk a lot more about Google reviews here in a minute, but I just want you to see what the eyeball goes to when you are Googling something. Um, a couple other things that are important, you'll see here on the second one, that Alex Parent EA, he doesn't seem to have like the products and services in there because you can see that it just jumps down to where it says, as a small business owner, it was refreshing to find an accountant, blah, blah, blah. So he must not have the types of products and services he has in there. To me, then I'd be like, okay. If I'm looking at these three, I'm gonna go, okay, this is pretty cool. The first one has 37 reviews, almost a perfect score. The third one has 31, almost a perfect score. They both say they do small business accounting for bookkeeping. That would be a plus for me. And this is how people make decisions when they're looking at Google. Notice also that there's a call button on there. So you can actually tap that and it will call on your phone for you. So there's a lot more here. I just wanted to give you a very quick high level look in case you haven't, dug into the details before. Okay. So 10 reasons every firm needs a Google business profile. So it will drive traffic to your website. 100% it will. There is a statistic out there that says that over half of the Google business profile interactions will lead to a website visit. So like I said, it will definitely drive traffic. And we're going to talk about looking at some of the analytics behind it as well here in the next couple of slides. But I've also heard a statistic, and I haven't been able to verify it, but I've heard a statistic that when you have a Google business profile, that your website will get 4 times the amount of hits. It makes sense. But what I do know for sure is that it does drive traffic to your website, which is what you want. Number 2 reason, which who knows, maybe that should be number 1. It's free, so why not, right? And you're signaling to Google that, hey, I'm here, I'm a business, I'm engaged, I'm legit. Another reason that you want to have this is it will increase your local visibility. Now, I know that a lot of you guys don't necessarily care where your clients are. If you are based in New York, you might not care if someone's in Georgia, as an example. I get that because we're living in a digital world, but certainly it doesn't hurt to increase your local visibility. What will happen there is now your firm's going to show up in Google Maps. And then when people do put in those near me or nearby searches, then you're going to have a greater likelihood of showing up. SEO. So this is very, very important. This is an organic way, in other words, a free way to send Google the signal that you are an active business by claiming it, number 1, completing it, and then keeping it updated. And we're going to talk more about that. But when you do that, it sends Google a message. Google's job is their job is to put the best possible businesses and organizations in front of the searchers, right? So they're going to serve up who is the most active. And of course, then there are those who are, paying for ads too. Ads always rise to the top. But from an organic perspective, a free way to make sure that you're optimizing your business on Google is to make sure that you've got a completed, well-optimized profile. Let's see here. Okay, those are the first 4 reasons. Okay. Another reason, to manage your online reputation. So we've all heard of things like Yelp reviews, Facebook reviews, all of that. Google is bigger. it is important to have a good reputation online. Sometimes I've spoken with accountants before who feel odd and feel kind of weird about asking for reviews. I get that. It feels weird to ask someone, will you please go out there and leave me a 5-star review? But I'm going to tell you, there is a statistic out there that says 60% of the people that are asked will leave a review. The thing that happens is that we just don't think about it. And I know that's the case for me. If someone says, hey, do you mind leaving me a review? I'm happy to do it. But I don't stop and think to do it a lot of times unless I'm asked. So don't feel bad about asking. It's very, very important. It really also, this is another big, big signal to Google that you're active. Here's one thing that you don't want to do. I have had firms before who decide at the end of the year or by a certain date, they want to get X number of Google reviews. That's great. But if you go out there and do a one-time push, what you're going to do is flood Google with these reviews and then they're going to see nothing. That doesn't help you. What you really want is to make sure that you've got a process in place where you are continually asking for and getting Google reviews. All right. And it shows the Google Business Profile also allows you to respond to positive and negative reviews, which you should definitely be doing. And we'll talk more about that. The other thing that another reason to have this is that, again, for optimization, for Google optimization, it allows you to showcase your services and expertise. So if you are a bookkeeping firm, as an example, you can add a detailed description. You can talk about any areas of specialization that you have, like if you're focused on a specific niche, like maybe you work with real estate agents, as an example. And I always encourage people to create images that you share about your services. So maybe create a card in Canva that says, bookkeeping for real estate agents, and put that out there on Google, because a lot of times people will connect with images even more than they connect with words. So it's important to have both. So don't overlook making sure to showcase all of your services and expertise on the profile. Okay, 2 more. I highly recommend you're going to, well, another reason to have this really is this is another opportunity for you to post updates about your company. Not just, you can think of it as sort of a quasi social media in a way. You can use it as such and to share things like maybe you brought in a new employee, maybe your firm was given an award, maybe you were given an award, maybe someone got promoted. Anytime that there's something important to announce that you would put out on social media, also, this is another opportunity for you to post it in the #1 search engine in existence, which is Google. And that also helps you keep your profile active, and it sends another signal to Google that this is an active business out there. Um, and then also, this is a great way to get insights into your own customer behavior. So it's harder to really get insights into your customer behavior when all you have is your website, right? And maybe you're not even really in tune with the Google Analytics. There are some fantastic analytics for the Google Business Profile that are free. They just come along with it that will give you all sorts of data, like how many people are interacting with your profile. It shows you that. It shows you how many people have seen your profile. And remember that I mentioned a slide or two ago that over 50% of people who interact with your profile will land on your website. So you want to kind of be able to see these things. And you can also see like what they're doing. So you can see if they're calling your firm or if they're visiting your website or if they're asking a question. So this can kind of help you understand how your audience wants to interact with you as well. And it's just another good way to gather intel on your clients. And then the other 2 reasons I believe for having an optimized Google Business Profile is that whole concept of, should I do Google ads? Should I pay for Google ads? Certainly you can, they're expensive, but they definitely work. I have a client doing them right now and is getting flooded with leads. And we manage those, but what I tell people, if you've not done Google ads, is start with optimizing your Google Business Profile, because A well-optimized Google business profile is a free way to get your firm seen by potential clients on Google. It takes a little time for Google to index that. You don't optimize it today and then all of a sudden, whoa, I'm flooded with traffic tomorrow. You've got to keep it up. You've got to keep putting new stuff out there. But again, it's a free way to boost your SEO. And then, of course, another reason to have it is credibility, right? So people buy, they buy on emotion and then they justify it with logic, right? We've talked about that in prior webinars. But this is one more thing that tells someone, all right, these guys are legit. Not only do they have a website, not only did my buddy recommend them, but I see them out here and oh my goodness, they've got reviews. Other people seem to like them. So it builds credibility, and that's very, very important. So those, I would say, would be the top 10 reasons that you want to have and prioritize your Google business profile. One mistake that I see many firms make is they'll have a website and pay zero attention to the Google business profile, missing a huge, huge, huge opportunity there. Okay, 5 things you need to do. And there's a million things you could do, but 5 things you definitely need to do. First, claim your Google business profile. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But then make sure your address is correct. You can go in and change your address. It will probably, sometimes they'll send you, if in a physical address, they'll send you a postcard with snail mail. I know it seems like so backwards in our digital age, but that's what they do, with a little code on it. And then you get it in a couple of days, you punch in the code and it will change your address for you. But complete it. Go through the entire profile and fill all of it in that you can. And then use photos. Be sure and use photos. Put photos of your building, your office, your staff, photos of, you can make little photo cards of your services. Definitely use photos. Keep it updated. Post out there whenever you can. There's no magic frequency, right? But don't just optimize it, spend a bunch of time on it, make it look cool, and then forget about it. Definitely keep it up. And the other thing that's super important that a lot of people miss, respond to every single review. And I know that sounds cumbersome. There are ways to automate that. I have clients that we automate that for, but respond to every single review. If it's negative, respond, take the high road, be kind, and then offer them to take it offline. If it's a positive, thank them for their confidence in you. Say a few kind words, but that's very important because again, that's another signal to Google that this is an active, engaged business. So those 5 things after you claim your profile are critical. Address, complete the profile, use photos, keep it updated, respond to every single review out there. Okay. Okay. Here are the top questions that I get about the Google business profile. So if I have a really great website, do I really have, is it really that important? Like, does anybody see it? Well, I think I answered that question in the prior slides. 100% is as important as your website. Extremely important. So the answer is yes. Invest the time to do it, or outsource it. We do that for our clients. How do I claim it? Well, we're going to talk about that on the next page. Very, very important because some people don't even realize that they have a business or a Google business profile. And that's very important to know that you've got it, to be able to find it and to claim it. So we'll talk about that in a minute. I'm going to put that one on hold because that's going to be your number one action item for today. What types of things do I post? I get that a lot. Well, we talked about a few. So we talked about like promotions, hiring people, special events, if you've gotten awards, notification, anything that you want to update your audience on. But also, if you write blog posts, if you create blog posts, if you're sharing them in social media, pretty much anything that you share in your social media channels can also be posted in the Google business profile. What I will tell you too, I highly encourage videos. People interact with videos. I have a client who puts at least one video a month out there and gets very good results from it. I will tell you, videos on Google business profile have to be under 30 seconds. That's important. So Google or videos, photos, Google loves those. And then, of course, blog posts, any other posts that you might have that you're posting on social media. I get this one a lot. Can I use a PO box? You cannot. You have to have a physical address. And there are ways to verify your account, even if you're in a shared office space, as an example. Google is actually pretty user-friendly in that regard. They do allow you to even to get on with sometimes with a Google expert, and they'll let you do, send in a video as an example to just prove that you've got a legit office. They have a responsibility that they have to be able to serve up legit businesses to their searchers. So they have to make sure that the business is a real business. And that's why that's probably the hardest part if you don't have a physical address is getting verified. Um, what if I get a negative review? I get that all the time. Well, number one, respond to it, be very professional, and kind, and, offer to take it offline. Number two, you need at the last statistic that I saw, you're going to need about 5 positives to outweigh any negative when it comes to, how Google responds. So if you get a negative review, it just kind of goes back to making sure that you've got a cadence, and you can automate these things too, by the way. Make sure you've got a cadence for collecting reviews. How often do you need to update it? Again, there's really not a magic number for that cadence, but there is, but you just need to update it regularly. Okay. How many reviews do I need? So last year, it used to be that Google wouldn't recognize you very much until you had at least 10 reviews out there. I've heard that's changed to 5. So, but my real answer is you need as many as you can get. The more, the better. Social proof sells. When someone goes out there and they see that you have 79 reviews and your nearest competitor has 3, who do you think they're going to call? It's that simple. Okay. And we're getting close on time, so I'm going to wrap up here in a minute. Okay, how do you claim it if you don't have it? 2 ways. You can either go to business.google.com/ad, and then you just enter, the name and address to your firm, and it'll pop up and you can claim it. Or you can go out to Google and search your business name, or Google Maps, and then just click claim. I think it's claim this business actually, but you can just click claim. And that's how you claim it. That's your first step, and that's your number 1 action item today, by the way. Super important. Let me see, because I think there's several things here in chat. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Local visibility is important for tax resolution services, 100%. Thank you so much, Stephen, for sharing that, because that's so true. Even if you don't necessarily focus your marketing efforts locally, this is just an opportunity you can't afford to miss. I mean, why wouldn't you want local business, right? Let's see here. I have a profile and reviews. Is there anything I need to know to ensure I don't lose my profile? So no, great question. There's nothing that you need to do to make sure that you don't lose it. No one can claim it. It's yours, because again, when you claim it, they have to verify it. So it's not like some random nefarious person can go out there and claim it easily at all. So don't worry about that, but it's an excellent question. And I think I had, what if you work from home? That's a great one too. So that's a tough one. There are a couple of things that you can do with that. So again, you have to have a physical address. I work from home, and we have our physical address on there. Like, it's not my home address. My company is based out of a different city, and I think it's my partner's home address that's on there. A lot of people don't want their home address. I totally get that. So there are options. You could have an address for a co-working space, or you can actually reach out and get in contact with Google and see if they will help you verify that via video. You might have to show them some signage of some sort, but they do want to see a physical address for your business. A lot of times too, co-working spaces are fine, and co-working spaces will be something that you might want to consider getting an address in. For your profile map, should it show the whole US if you don't care where your clients are, or should it show your city? Well, I always recommend, if you want to let them know where you are, I think that's important. Because again, you really want to maximize any local opportunity as well. But then I think you can make it clear too that you do business all over the US, but here's where you're located. Yes, great point. You can use your home address, but set it not to display on the actual listing. You can do that. Okay, I think that wraps up the questions. So what I'm gonna do here, um, obviously, you know my stance on having a GBP. It's just it's an essential marketing tool. You need to do it. If you have questions, if you need help, if you want ways to automate things like getting Google reviews, responding to them, those types of things, I'm always happy to help and point people in the right direction. No pressure, no obligation. If you wanted to talk with me a little bit more about it, you're welcome to do so. You can easily go out to our website, kajabra.com, and there's a link out there where you can book an appointment with me, just a 30-minute strategy call. And with that, I think we are to the end. So I don't think let me just make sure there's no other questions. No, thanks, guys. Thank you for the kind words. So hopefully this was helpful, but I think that's everything, Cheska.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Janelle. Again, thanks everybody. You guys were really active this session. That's really great. Yeah, and I think Janelle, you helped us out, like everyone out, and just kind of cleared our heads on the giant thing that is the Google business profile. God, I cannot talk today. Okay, well, right before we close this webinar out, remember that we do have many other webinars for you this coming month, including our next marketing talks, whether you're interested in practice management, everything tax, and all things QuickBooks and marketing. Insightful Accountants got something for you. Now you can go check those out. All our other webinars out that are available to you over on our educational webinars page right on our site. Again, thanks everybody. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.